What's going on, guys? What's happening, YouTube? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. It's Friday afternoon. I'm getting ready to go for a run right now, so we're going to blow through this video pretty quickly. But I thought this was an interesting article. It's titled, "The CEO of RyanAir says his planes won't fly if middle seats must be kept empty for idiotic social distancing rules." Now, there seems to be some varying opinions. Some people think this thing isn't a big deal at all. Some people think this is a zombie apocalypse and it's the end of the world and we can't leave our houses for the next 2 years. And some people are somewhere in between. One thing I would hope everybody could agree on is how stupid some of what we're doing is, how contradictory some of what we're doing is. I talked about how Fauci said that Tinder hookups are okay. Yet we can't go to the work, we can't go to the gyms, we're shutting down beaches, we're shutting down parks. I know in a lot of states you can't go hunting, you can't go camping. And a lot of things just don't make sense. Me going camping, out in the woods by myself, I'm not near anybody. It's out in open air, the sun is shining. Like the chances of me getting sick from that or getting anybody else sick from that are slim to none. I know a lot of people will make the argument, well, a Tinder hookup is just two people. Well, if we're so worried about this RO of six, you and me hook up and, I pass it on to six people and then those six people pass it on to six more people. So that's 36 people. Then I can't do 36 times six in my head, but whatever 36 times six is, they spread it to those people. And so even though a lot of people say, hooking up with somebody off Tinder is only one other person, that's fairly low risk. Well, when I'm out camping, I'm not licking anybody's buttholes or swallowing anybody's bodily fluids or anything else. And so it's just like contradictory stuff like that kind of drives me crazy. And for anybody who, thinks that we should leave middle seats empty, have you flown in a while? Like, do you realize how small plane seats are? Like, each seat is, I could probably find a measurement online. I'm guessing each seat is, 18, 20, I don't know, 24 inches wide, maybe? Like, if that. And so by leaving, social distancing, we're supposed to keep, at least 6 feet apart. I think more recent data has come out and said that the coronavirus can spread in the air upwards to 17 feet. It lingers in the air. Obviously, you have this, steel tube flying through the air without fresh air circulating. The idea that keeping a middle seat open is going to make people any safer is just fucking dumb, right? Like, if we had to put a percentage on how much safer you are by leaving the middle seat open, I would say it's probably less than 1%. And so it's just kind of stupid things like this that we're doing, that leaving middle seats open would affect revenue. It would make flying unprofitable. And in terms of what benefit it would have to the safety of passengers on an airplane, next to no benefit. So it's got a very hefty negative effect on airline prices, and therefore airlines continuing to be able to fly. And it's got, essentially no effect on keeping people safer. So what's the point of doing it? And I think through a lot of this, we're seeing a lot of stupidity and doing a lot of things that maybe feel good or make you feel like you're doing something, so people want to do them, but that accomplish nothing. Anyhow, let's get into the article. If the Irish government asks airlines to leave middle seats on planes empty to enable social distancing, one airline CEO is vowing to make them pay. Michael O'Leary, CEO of RyanAir, said if the rule is implemented, the government should pay for the empty seats or his planes will not fly. In an interview with the Financial Times, the budget airline executive explained plans for RyanAir to resume 80% of flights by September, as long as flying in Europe could resume in July. O'Leary said the airline intends to gradually increase the number of flights and then reduce them again in the less busy winter season. But he said these plans could be foiled if there were some entirely ineffective social distancing measures, like having middle seats empty, because if middle seats are empty, we're not returning to fly at all. O'Leary said RyanAir told the government that if it implements such a rule, there will be pushback. Either the government pays for the middle seat or we won't fly, he told the Financial Times. We can't make money on a 66% load factor. Even if you do that, the middle seat doesn't deliver any social distancing, so it's kind of an idiotic idea that doesn't achieve anything anyways. Some airlines, including Delta, have already taken this step to help protect passengers. Starting on April 13th through June 30th, Delta said it would block middle seats on all flights. Of course, air travel has declined so much amid the current stay-at-home orders that most planes have few passengers anyway. The International Air Transport Association, or the IATA, claims the risk of catching an infection on a plane is typically lower than in a shopping center or office environment and recommends common sense steps to reduce the risk, like washing your hands and not touching your face. These guidelines are consistent with general recommendations from the CDC. However, the IATA Director General Alexander Dejuniak said leaving the middle seat vacant on flights may become an added preventative measure, Reuters reports. Dejuniak acknowledged that more seats filled means more money for airlines, which are struggling right now. On the other hand, you have airlines that are heavily in the red and desperately need passengers to come back, which could put pressure on the prices, he told Reuters. However, if we ask for distancing in the aircraft, we will have to neutralize a number of seats, so that means you need to raise your prices, he continued, admitting that these are two contradictory trends. In his interview with the Financial Times, O'Leary said Europe should instead implement other measures like mandatory mask wearing and temperature checks. He said he was hopeful there would be a return to more normal air traffic levels in the summer of 2021 once there is an effective coronavirus vaccine. Here's something, I don't mean to get off on a tangent, but to my knowledge, I don't believe there's ever been an effective coronavirus vaccine. I don't believe they've ever made one. They're talking about maybe being able to rush one out by September. I think more than likely they're looking at 12 to 18 months, if not longer. Does anybody actually want to take a vaccine that's been rushed out? Vaccines have been known to paralyze people, to cause all other types of things. I'll take my chances with the coronavirus. I'm a younger, healthier guy. I don't have any pre-existing conditions. I'm not overweight. I'll take my chances with the coronavirus over taking a vaccine that's been rushed out. But that's a whole nother point. I think RyanAir in summer 2021 will be carrying our 2019 traffic plus growth, but the airports will still have less traffic than they had before. O'Leary said, although FT reports some aviation analysts predict this could take 3 years to achieve, O'Leary himself took a 50% pay cut and would continue to do so beyond May if the lockdown lasted, according to the Financial Times. Similarly, Delta CEO Ed Bastian said he would give up his salary for the rest of the year. In the U.S., the nation's 6 biggest airlines, Delta, American, United, Southwest, Alaska, and JetBlue, along with 4 other small carriers, have tentatively agreed to terms for $25 billion in federal aid to pay workers and keep them employed through September. Let me know your guys' thought. What do you think about this? Does it make sense to block off the middle seats in airplanes, or does that really serve no purpose at all except for further hurting airlines' profits? Which, since we as a government, as a society, are bailing them out, it's essentially costing us money. Let me know your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll catch you on the next video. Later, guys.